I think that's a fish on there. Nicely done, Parker.
Oh, Tom, I smell fish.
Hey, even a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes. There you go, Buzzards Bay sea bass action.
Welcome to New England Boating. I'm Parker Kelly.
And I'm Tom Richardson, and today we're coming to you from New Bedford, Massachusetts. Nicknamed the Whaling City, New Bedford is the world's most famous whaling-era seaport and also the #1 commercial fishing port in America.
That's right, New Bedford is proud of its past, its present, and its future. Later on in the show, we're going to be meeting the mayor and talking with him about this culturally diverse, wonderfully rich city.
That's right. We're also going to be visiting the Whaling Museum, checking out the Z, and also some of the restaurants and shops in town as well. But first, we're going to give you a boater's tour of the harbor, show you some of the marinas, the launch ramps, moorings, other things you'll need to know as a boater when visiting this port.
New England Boating, New Bedford.
Let's go. We're here with Jeff Steeb,
And Bob Boulay.
and they're with the Port of New Bedford. And they're going to give us a little tour of the harbor of New Bedford. We're at the public dinghy dock here, right? This is kind of where all the transient boaters would probably bring in their dinghy, obviously tie it up and access downtown.
That's correct. This is Coast Guard Park.
Obviously, New Bedford's a really busy commercial port. You have to watch out for some things like this, right?
It's a working harbor.
What's going on with the barge there that we just passed?
It's just part of the construction for the South Terminal.
Bob, tell us about the hurricane barrier. It's pretty extensive. Look at it.
Yeah, it's 4 miles long. It's one of the largest barriers on the East Coast. It took them 4 years, 62 to 66. It's 150 feet wide. The gates close, but there's a tunnel that goes underneath so the workers can get from one side to the other 40 feet down.
Oh, no kidding.
Really?
So it was amazing when they built it and put this corrugated dam and started pumping it out. I rode my bike down the next day. I wanted to see what the bottom of the harbor looked like. We actually snuck down it
That's when you were a kid?
with shovels because the Hardy Boys were on TV. That's right, the adventures are. So anyway, we thought maybe we'd come up with some kind of, but we got nothing.
Yeah.
A lot of dead fish laying on the
Oh,
bottom.
oh, yeah?
This was built in 1849, one of the older lighthouses on the East Coast. Ned's Point light, maybe a little older,
Yeah.
but I think the same people build it. They look identical.
They do.
They do.
What should mariners know about the approach to New Bedford Inner Harbor?
It's pretty clear. The channel's well marked when you're coming in from Buzzards Bay.
How about once you're in the harbor, Bob?
Again, it's a straight shot. You can see the New Bedford Haven Bridge. The markers continue right into our marina.
So, Jeff, you have ferries here too that run to the islands?
Absolutely. We'll take you to the vineyard on the C Street Ferry, seasonal ferry, park at our Whales Tooth parking lot, come over here to the State Pier, Bedford State Pier. Right behind us is the ferry terminal. Hop on the ferry and you're there in about 45 minutes. And you don't have to cross any bridges to Cape Cod.
This is where Herman Melville left on board the Acushnet in 1843. He had signed on to the whale ship and he went off. He ended up writing a famous novel about a whale.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah.
That's like a big, thick book, right?
That's the one.
Moby Dick.
Moby Dick.
Now, what's that? That looks like the Mayflower.
It is the Mayflower. Not the original, but it's the replica of the Mayflower. It's in having some extensive repairs done to the helm.
All right, so this is Crow's Island. I've always been curious about this island. Tell me, what's the story behind
Looks like
this?
there's a chapel on it too.
There is a chapel. Originally, it was a radio station. He's got everything on that
Looks
island.
like a museum.
He does. He's just got.
That's neat.
He's a local
Character.
legend. He is. We have yellow mooring balls that we put in for day moorings, you know, that people could come to New Bedford, spend the day for free.
How would one identify those moorings?
Do you see the yellow ones?
Yep.
They stand out.
I
you
guess
know.
so. That's
Those are the ones
make it
that-
pretty easy.
That's the one they can come and stay for the day for free.
That's right.
Yeah, and we were saying, like, you know, a lot of destinations, there isn't much to do on shore. Say you're traveling through here, you get a rainy day or bad weather outside, just go ashore and, you know, you have a ball.
You know, in a 4-block area, I think there are something like 20 different museums, art museums, and there's just so much going on. You just have to come to New Bedford to see it. And a lot of people come by land, and we're just trying to get people to come by in their boats.
Well, that wraps up our little tour of New Bedford Harbor. Hopefully it's shown you some of the things you need to know as a recreational boater when visiting the harbor. For more information, visit portofnewbedford.org or newenglandboating.com. You can find tons more information for recreational boaters on our website. Anyways, up next, Parker has a meeting with the mayor.
So I'm here with John Mitchell, the mayor of New Bedford. Please tell me about New Bedford. What makes this port so different from the other ports?
Where do I begin? So what makes New Bedford different is, first of all, its story. New Bedford was to whaling, as many people know, as Detroit was to automobiles. This is where it happened. New Bedford, on the eve of the Civil War, was the wealthiest city per capita in the United States because of the whaling industry. And so if you've read Moby Dick, you know about New Bedford. You know at least about New Bedford back then. And so much of that whaling history is preserved here today. Nowadays, as you can see from here, we're a major commercial fishing port. In fact, New Bedford is the biggest commercial fishing port in America, as
Wow.
measured by the value of the fish that are landed here. If you like to dine and sail, this is the place to go. New Bedford, if you grab a mooring right out here, you can take a convenient launch right into the dock, and within a 5-minute walk, you have 19 different restaurants to choose from.
Right, talk about the walkability.
So New Bedford is laid out in the 1840s in a very pedestrian-friendly way. Cobblestone streets, street lighting,
Very
the whole
quaint.
thing, old quaint buildings. If you like walking around Martha's Vineyard or Newport or Nantucket, you'll like New Bedford. So we have lots of restaurants within a short walk of the pier.
And you did grow up here.
I did.
So it's a place that you also love and call home.
I'm biased, so let's see. You're interviewing someone who does have a certain bias for this place. But I do think if you come try us out, you'll find that, like so many others, that this is a very interesting place to boat. A lot of other people have shied away from here in the past because they figured, well, it's just an industrial port.
And you say
but
to
we're
them-
so much more.
So John
Yes.
Mitchell, the mayor of New Bedford, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Up next, Tom is on the Ernestina.
For the F.E. Morrissey, names for the captain's daughter.
Let's do a fishing song.
Yes, let's do a fishing song.
Up jumped the herring, the king of the sea. He says, come on, Captain, why bother catch me?
Well, we're here on the historic schooner Ernestina, which is docked here at State Pier, right on the downtown New Bedford waterfront. I'm here with Tom Nixon. He is an interpreter with the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation. Tom, tell us a little bit about the schooner Ernestina.
Well, the schooner Ernestina has a great history, Tom. We should be very proud to have this cultural resource here in New Bedford. The ship was built in 1894 at the James and Tar Yard. At the time, the schooner was the pickup truck of the sea. It was used for everything.
Yep.
And this particular ship was used for everything.
Yeah, now I assume they used it for fishing at one point?
They started as a fishing boat. She fished for 20 years and had paid for herself many times over. And while most of her sisters became Victorian houses,
Oh, no
were
kidding.
torn up and recycled, she was saved by a man named Bob Bartlett, an explorer. She spent years exploring the Arctic, and then she became the last ship of sail to bring immigrants to America.
So this ship was actually in the Arctic.
Many times.
No kidding.
Many times.
Scup, the smallest of all. He says, watch out, Captain, it's all your trawl haul. And the windy old weather storm.
Quickly, let's go through some of the neat features of the Ernestina, starting at the stem and working our way to the stern. How much do these anchors weigh?
These anchors, by design, are 5% of the weight of the ship. And the ship being 68 tons gives you an idea. One of the things that's most impressive is The ship has been rebuilt again and again and again. But if you want to see original parts, they're inevitably black metal. You can see here, built by A.P. Stoddard, Gloucester, Massachusetts. This same wheel has been there originally. We even know when this particular handle was broken off, 1965. The same is true of this bilge pump. It was manufactured in Cape Ann 120 years ago. This thing still works.
No, no kidding. Yeah. So what's one of the more interesting things that you like on this ship?
Well, my favorite part about this, Tom, is the way that Captain Bob Bartlett tricked this out like a hot rodder. He put knees in the forecastle all the way back. There's reinforcement in the hold. He added the first engine, and he did this. You will not see this in any other ship in the world. When the decks are washed, water runs through these scuppers, and the slight curve allows the water to run off the deck. Well, you're in the Arctic. You've got ice. What do? You do this.
And it just lets big chunks of ice slide off.
Right, they can just push ice out rather than throwing it overboard.
Hurrah for the F.E. Morrissey, named for the captain's daughter. She outlived all her sisters, done a bit more than she oughter.
Tom Goo and the volunteers from the Ernestina who sing sea shanties and all sorts of maritime songs. Thanks so much. Want to have them sing us out again?
Yeah.
We don't like salmon, we don't like hate. Offer us lobster, we'll laugh in your face.
Well, that's it from the schooner Ernestina. Come on down and see this great ship for yourself. Thanks a lot, Tom. I appreciate the rundown on the ship. Anyway, stick around. We got more of New Bedford still ahead, including a little dockside dining and a visit to the Whaling Museum.
Hey, Tom.
Tom, spending so much time in America's #1 fishing port is making me hungry for fish.
Well, that's a great thing because I know of a spot nearby where we can catch all the fluke you want.
Good, let's do it.
All right, let's go. Parker, what we got here is just a piece of squid, a little squid strip, maybe 4 or 5 inches long. What I've got rigged up here is basically a 3-ounce bucktail jig. And then above that, about 2 feet, we got a little dropper line coming off a 3-way swivel.
Okay.
And I've got a smaller jig in a different color just above that. This one's kind of hopping like this on the bottom, weighing it down. This one's kind of dangling behind it and slightly above it. We're drifting over a shoal that comes up from like 70 feet of water, like 30 feet. The fluke are holding right on top of that high part of that shoal, right on the the edge there, and where the current is the strongest, and where the bait fish are getting tumbled around, and they're just waiting there on top for a bait fish to come along. They dart up, they grab it, and that's what hopefully they're going to think our lures are. You always want to be on the bottom, okay? Because the fluke aren't going to come up and take a bait that's 10 feet above. Jigging it a little more, jigging it a little more. Let off on the free spool. So basically, we're sort of in the middle of Vineyard Sound right now, and we're off, just off a little bit off the Elizabeth Islands, maybe a couple miles. And there's a nice big shoal out here that's I've always done well on.
Nice, Tom.
Here's a little one. Well, you can see this one's a little small. He's right on the edge. They got to be 16 inches to keep this year. This one's just under, I bet, but we'll throw them back. So you got to sort through the small fish before you catch your limit of keepers. But once in a while, you get a real nice one out here. I've caught them up to maybe 7 pounds on the shoal. I think that's a fish on there. That could be net worthy.
Tom!
Easy now, Parker.
All right.
Oh, you had that line way out there.
Tom!
Here, let me go.
Tom!
It's a black sea bass!
Tom!
Reeling it.
I think I lost him, Tom.
That could be the monster flukosaurus we're looking for.
Tom! Is there anything, Tom? Oh, Tom!
All right.
What do I do,
That's
Tom?
a nice one. Leave him in here. Yeah, that's a nice sea bass right there.
Tom, I did get something.
You did, I know.
I don't know how long my line was so far out.
Hey, I had no doubt in you. I had complete faith in your ability.
It's the pink lure. Once again, a good catch is made by all.
That's right. We got some fluke, got a few sea bass, got dinner.
Perfect. Up next, Tom is going to talk with some folks who are dedicated to preserving and sustaining the waters of Buzzards Bay. Stay with us.
New Bedford Harbor is obviously an incredible historical port.
Well, I'm here with Rob Hancock. He is the Vice President of Education and Public Engagement at the Buzzards Bay Coalition. And we're here at the Buzzards Bay Coalition Center, which is located right across from the busy waterfront area of New Bedford. And you got some great exhibits here. People can learn all about Buzzards Bay and what you guys are doing. You got this great big diorama here.
The great thing about this is it kind of gives you what I like to call an osprey eye view. So folks can actually see the stretch of the bay out to the Elizabeth Islands, all the way up to the Cape Cod Canal, and down to Westport and Dartmouth.
You guys do some great work right here in New Bedford Harbor as well, restoring the water in the harbor.
New Bedford Harbor is obviously an incredible historical port. It's also a great place for people to visit today. But it has a checkered past in terms of its water quality. The harbor was actually originally closed to things like shell fishing over 100 years ago. And that was a
lot of the bay.
If you were here 15, 20, 30 years ago, you wouldn't have seen any eelgrass outside New Bedford. And actually right here at our center, we've highlighted that with our outdoor sculpture garden entitled Habitat. A local sculptor, John Magnan, created these incredible stainless steel eelgrass representations, 12 feet high. A great visual plaza for you to walk through.
Hey Rob, thanks a lot for telling us about the center and some of the great stuff that your organization is doing. You can learn more on their website, savebuzzardsbay.org, and you can also go for more information to newenglandboating.com, where you'll find all kinds of information on New Bedford and Buzzards Bay as a whole. But before you go anywhere, stick around because we've got more coming your way, including a visit to the Whaling Museum, as well as a tour of Pope's Island Marina.
I'm here with Justin Braun, the general manager of the Waterfront Grill, and it is a waterfront grill. Justin, tell us a little bit about the restaurant.
Sure. The restaurant's been here for about 6 years. We're fortunate enough to be right on the water here in downtown New Bedford. We get to celebrate the working waterfront. We get our seafood right off some of the boats that are docked right outside our doors.
Yeah, I noticed
here.
a lot of fishing boats out
That's
there.
right. All different ways to come in and join us.
You tie up at the dinghy dock at the State Pier?
Yep, right up the river here. 90% of our menu is seafood, and you know it's a great representation of what we have here in this town.
Well, great place, Justin. Right now I'm going to go in with Chef Lisa, and she's going to cook up some scallops.
Yeah.
These are fresh scallops, right?
Fresh scallops from George's Banks.
Yeah, so come right in on the boat.
Yep, delivered fresh every day here at Waterfront Grill.
What are we going to do to these scallops?
We're basically just searing them, which I believe is one of the better ways to eat scallops. It's just a really nice sear on them. We just put a little salt, pepper, very light oil. And honestly, you're going to wait about 2.5 to 3 minutes before we will flip. You don't want to touch them once they're on that flat top.
Okay,
so you can get that beautiful
flavor.
Yes.
Has it been 3 minutes?
You may flip the scallop.
Gentle.
Another 3 minutes.
Let's wait it out. Time lapse.
So now our scallops, about 6 minutes, are seared on both sides. We're going to plate them with the orange ginger.
I love orange
ginger sauce. Go in the center and the sauce will spread out.
Here I go.
And then this is a cilantro pesto.
Now what?
Now we're going to take our seared scallops.
Yep.
Just garnish.
The orange.
Just to liven up the dish. And that's it.
Up next, more of New Bedford.
How was it?
Delicious.
Hi, Tom Richardson, and I'm here with Deb Ewell. She's the marina manager here at the Pope's Island Marina. It's a Port of New Bedford managed marina. It's right here on Pope's Island in the inner harbor. So Deb, how many transient slips do you guys make available here?
We keep about 10 to 15, and the transient rate is $2.75 a foot per day.
Yep, so very very competitive with some of the marinas in this area.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you can actually walk downtown. It's not that far a walk, is it?
No, it's very nice.
That's great.
Just go over the bridge.
Well, thanks a lot, Deb, for the rundown on the Pope's Island Marina. Come down and see about getting a transient slip here or keeping your boat here for the season. Right now, we're going to kick things over to Parker, who's in downtown New Bedford at the Whaling Museum.
So I'm just about to go into the New Bedford Whaling Museum, and we stumbled upon Cape Verdean Recognition Week. And this is a beautiful festival out here, and there's music playing, and it's such a vibrant city. The water is right here, the fresh air is coming in, and there's always something to do. Right now I'm going to go check out the museum, which is a definite must-see when you're in New Bedford. I'm here with James Russell, the president of the New Bedford Whaling Museum.
We have over 750,000 objects and items in this museum. It's an entire block, it's an entire city block. Right behind us, we have literally the largest model in the world. It's of a whaling vessel. It's called the Lagoda. We have all sorts of stories to tell of the region, and so many interesting groups came through because of the harbor, because the harbor of New Bedford. It was always a very safe harbor from the earliest times, from 1602, believe it or not, predating Plymouth Rock, 1602. People were coming here, and there's just these layers of history. And so when people come of all ages, you know, whether you're a kid, whether you're an adult, whether you're interested in history, whether you're interested in geography, whether you're in ecology, like what's the status of whales today, we try to touch on all these stories. Lots of things to do. We've got 4 complete whales here, completely reintact. And you see the eyes and
jaws drop.
Literally they drop. They go wow as they look at these immense creatures. And of course they are tremendously impressive. You look at our ship models, you look at our scrimshaw, you look at the arch which was created to represent, you look at the glass collections and all the different stories.
So history, large and small.
I love it. I love it.
James Russell from the New Bedford Whaling Museum.
I'm here with Emily Priggen. She is a park ranger with the National Park Service, and we're standing in front of the New Bedford Whaling National Historical Park Visitor Center. It's just a few blocks up from the waterfront, so it's very convenient for visiting boaters to reach. Tell us about the park. What does it encompass, and what is it all about?
It's a kind of an interesting park. It's not one that most people would expect to see in the middle of a city.
Right.
It's a national park, and most people say, really, there's a national park?
Yeah, it's not like Yellowstone or something like that.
No, exactly. It's not out west. It's not known for big trees. What we have here is a park that's in the middle of the city, and there's history. What took place here is of historic interest, and it belongs, this park, to everyone, as all national parks do. The whaling history, one of the biggest businesses in the 19th century was the business of going out and catching whales. Many people don't even know, why would you even do that? Why would you even want to go out and catch whales? And it wasn't to eat them. It was for the oil. It was for the oil, it was for ambergris, it was for baleen, it was for other products from the whales. We call this city the city that lit the world because that oil was used not only in candles, but in lighthouses, in homes, all around the world. Come into the visitor center and we've got the maps, the brochures, the information, the orientation film, and we can tell you where you might want to visit, some of the places to go, where the restaurants are, and all the things of interest to you.
That's great. Well, thanks a lot for the quick rundown on the National Park. Thank you, Emily.
Thanks
you
for
can come here and see it for yourself right here in downtown New Bedford. Local Park Service.
That's it for this edition of New England Boating. What a great time we've had in New Bedford.
Absolutely.
The Whaling Museum and the toughest restaurants, and it's just been fabulous.
It's been great. That's right. And don't forget to check out newenglandboating.com to learn more about New Bedford and to find out where we're going to be next time. Until then, I'm Tom Richardson.
And I'm Parker Kelly. See you soon.